Mike Baker is with us, a former CIA operations officer. He knows the world very well. He has a new podcast on the First TV, Daily Brief, and he comes to us from Boise, Idaho. There's a lot of CIA guys up in Idaho, I understand, right? It's kind of like rural out there, and you guys do what you can do.
It's good living. It's good living, and it's a CIA relocation program. So when you leave the agency, they give you a bus ticket to come to Idaho.
There's a lot of interesting characters in Idaho, isn't that for sure? All right, so my executive order, that makes sense to you, I'm sure, right?
It does, but much like what you said during your talking points memo about other issues, and as you pointed out, it's not going to happen. This is a perfect example. What's happening at the border is a perfect example of a self-inflicted wound, right? It as you pointed out with the ousting of the speaker, the border situation didn't have to happen this way, right? But if you ask the cartel leaders in Mexico, if you got them all in a room together, before you blew that room up, but if you got them in a room together and you said, what would make your job easier? What would increase your profits? They would all say, lighten up the security at the border. And that's what's happened. And so it's no surprise that the cartels are now making more money than they've ever made before. And that's off of human trafficking and drugs primarily.
And they're killing more people than they ever had before. So the murder comes along with it. So the Biden administration comes in day one, knocks out Remain in Mexico policy that stopped 80% of the illegal migration and the asylum into the United States. That was in Trump's last year. He got that done. Yeah. Why do you think President Biden knocked that out and opened up the border?
Well, I think there was immediately this idea that anything that the previous administration, the Trump administration, had done, we've got to reverse, right? And it was a knee-jerk reaction on several fronts, including the border. But reversing Trump-era policy on the border just happened to have the most significant impact on the average American in terms of the increase in drugs being moved into the United States, the increase in violence. The demand on city resources. Look, it's bad. The situation is bad when Eric Adams, the Democrat mayor of New York City, is now in Mexico and will eventually end up at the Darien Gap, which is a key part of the route that most of the immigrants are taking to get up to the border and then into the United States. So it's bad when there are some Democrats now complaining to the White House and putting pressure on the White House to say, look, this is, they're admitting it's in our backyard now and it's ridiculous. You have to do something.
But I still don't know why. Now, the CIA does not operate in the United States. It's not allowed to, but certainly knows what's going on in Mexico because Mexico is the biggest threat to us right now. CIA knows that. The CIA would know if you open the border up for anybody who is claiming asylum, anybody, and then you allow them in, and 5 years down the road, maybe you adjudicate their asylum request, you're going to have millions of people take advantage of that. That's not a tough analysis for a CIA person, okay? But that's exactly what happened. But I'm still trying to get it. The CIA director, the current one, must have told Biden that, right? The people must have said, This is cause and effect. You do this, this is what's going to happen. Correct?
Yeah. Yeah, look, Biden administration,
why did Biden do it?
No, they're not stupid people in the White House. We shouldn't make that mistake. So they do hear it, and they are getting this advice. They're getting it from a variety of different agencies, not just the agency in terms of open borders or the next best thing to open borders are a threat to national security. Look, in September, as an example, in September, there were 260,000 encounters at the southern border. 260,000, right? That is bigger than the population of Laredo, Texas. So we've added an entire town. Those are just the individuals that are encountered. We have no idea. We can extrapolate numbers, but it's a guess. We have no idea how many gotaways there are. And we have no idea, therefore, how many individuals are coming across the border that are threatening to our national security interests, right? Potential terrorists and others.
We know all of that. We still don't know why Biden is doing it. Why is Biden doing it?
Yeah, you know what? If I if I could get inside Biden's mind, immediately I'd want to leave. But if I could do that, yeah, I don't know. Is the answer? I suspect, in part, there was this knee-jerk reaction. If Trump closed the border, it must be bad. So therefore, we must do the opposite. But there are Democrats who do believe that closing the border or having border security is racist in some fashion, anti-immigrant.
Yeah.
Right? Look, every nation closes its borders and worries about its borders, protects its borders. I mean, try moving into Mexico. Try going illegally into Mexico and getting a work permit. It's never going to happen, right? But the U.S. is the one country that seems to apologize when we talk about protecting our borders and understanding
it's a
who's
far
coming.
left progressive movement. I mean, they're behind it. Okay, tell me about the Daily Brief on the First TV. What are you doing there, Mike?
Sure. It's called the President's Daily Brief. And the idea is, much like with the PDB that goes to the White House every morning from the intel community, it's just the top line, the top issues of the day around the globe. We provide just the facts, a little bit of context, and then we get out and you get on your way. So maybe 20 minutes every morning during the week, a new episode hits. We'll tell you what's going on in the world that you should keep an eye on, something that maybe hasn't hit the radar yet and you need to focus on. We'll put a little context in there, and then you're off and you're informed and you can start your day.
That sounds good, Mike. We really appreciate your expertise. We are seen on the First TV as well, so we're like brothers in arms now. And whenever you see something that's a danger to national security, because you're in the world, let us know, because we want to stay ahead of the curve here. Mike Baker, thank you very much. Appreciate it.